Right now at noon, a man from Welch, Oklahoma is charged with a crash that killed 2 people.
We're getting the sunshine, we are getting the heat, but we could still see a stray shower or two. We'll talk about these above normal temperatures and those shower chances coming up.
And Baxter Springs police hold a class on how to keep yourself and those you care about safe from being scammed.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Authorities in Pittsburgh charged the man suspected of assaulting 4 women on the Pitt State campus. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Amber Jenkins. Police say Noel Nerfenshield of Shawnee Mission, Kansas, attacked 4 women last week with a handgun. No word yet on if any of the victims were injured. Nerfenshield is charged with 4 counts of aggravated assault with the use of a deadly weapon. Authorities in Joplin have charged a Welch, Oklahoma man with murder after a crash involving 3 motorcycles killed 2 people. It happened around 8:45 Sunday on North Main Street. An officer says he tried to pull over 2 motorcyclists going 80 miles per hour down Main Street. The motorcyclists took off and the officer gave up the chase. Shortly after that, JPD received a call about a crash in front of a Casey's General Store. Police say the 2 motorcyclists crashed into a third that was leaving the Casey's. They say one of the speeding motorcyclists and the third were killed in the crash. The other motorcyclist, 18-year-old Colton Goddard, was not injured. Police say he was driving recklessly speeding. He is being charged with 2 counts of felony murder. Chris Warner now joins us with a look at the forecast.
Yeah, we are starting to heat up out there across the area as we will remain above average for the next few days across the area. At this point, we're not looking to break any records, but boy, once we really start to heat up, you're not going to care if we're breaking a record or not. You just know that it's a little too hot for September. MoDOT camera, 20th and range line, looking good so far this afternoon. Now I get to show you something we haven't had a chance to look at in quite some time. The Skywatch Storm Tracker. Now, what's right up and through here, of course, it's just ground clutter, just Virgo. That's not actually happening. What I want to talk about is what's down here. So take a look at this latest loop, and you'll see some showers and thunderstorms between Oklahoma and Arkansas developing and stretching northward. Now, unfortunately, most of us are going to remain dry. Not all of us are going to get in on this activity. But the good news is there's more rain chances on the way in the next let's see, it's noon, 12, 15 hours. We'll talk about that in a moment. Yesterday started at 68, so just a little bit above normal there. We made it to 95, almost 10 degrees above where we should be this time of year. And of course, not quite at a record. But man, like I said, I mean, mid-90s in September, it doesn't matter if it's a record or not, it is hot. Quick look at temperatures around the area. 89 in Pittsburgh, 90 in Lamar, 92 in Joplin, Miami, Parsons, 91 in Chanute, and 90 in Neosho. So what we're keeping an eye on is we've got those scattered storm chances, better ones as we head into Tuesday. Temperatures, of course, staying well above average. However, we will be back to normal as we head into the weekend. We'll take a complete look at your forecast and those rain chances here in just a few more minutes. Amber?
Thanks, Chris. Newton County authorities respond to reports of a structure fire late Sunday morning. It happened at 606 Park Lane, just outside of Joplin. The fire started behind the home and quickly spread to the roof. Fire crews were able to stop the fire before it spread to the rest of the house. There's no word yet on the cause of the fire, but no one was injured. A federal judge says Kansas officials are no longer required to change transgender people's birth certificates to reflect their gender identities. Since 2019, a federal consent agreement required Kansas officials to change gender identity on a person's birth certificate when asked. But Republican Attorney General Chris Kobach asked the court to stop reinforcing that agreement because of a new state law that defines male and female as the sex assigned at birth. On Thursday, a federal judge granted Kobach's request. Kansas is among a few states not allowing transgender people to change their driver's license. Arkansas' social media age gap verification law did not go into effect. The measure could have required parental consent and age verification for new social media users. A group representing social media companies argued the law censors free speech and undermines the privacy of people of Arkansas. But advocates counter, saying it would protect children from online predators. A U.S. district judge temporarily blocked the law until the legal battle is finally resolved. Little Balkans Day's festivities continued on Sunday with a fishing derby. Children of all ages were able to get outside and enjoy the weather while catching some fish at Lakeside Park. The event was free and offered various prizes for the kiddos.
Worms, chicken, soft plastics, Chad wraps, stuff like that.
Prizes were given out to the top 3 of each category, the most fish caught and the biggest catch of the day. And for those that wanted to stay inside to celebrate Little Balkan Days, the polka dance took place at Mellowbrook Mall. Attendees danced throughout the day to music played by the Johnny Zilbert Polka Band. It included a raffle and ended with a roast chicken dinner.
When the Slovenians immigrated to America back during the 20s and stuff, when the coal mining was real big, there was a lot of Slovenians, a lot of Italians and Germans and Polish that came over here to work in the mines. Well, they brought the music with them.
The event began at 1 and wrapped up around 4 p.m. The annual Friends of the Library book sale was held this Saturday. It was also part of the Little Balkans Day Festival. Visitors were invited to come out and shop for a good cause. The proceeds from the book sale benefit the Friends of the Library, an organization that purchases library materials and sponsors special events, including summer reading programs.
The money's used for a lot of children activities during the summer reading programs, and one of our purposes is we want to encourage people to read. So even though this is a fun maker today, we are hoping that people are buying books because we want them to read.
The event was held outside the Pittsburgh Public Library's courtyard. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in your first 7 minutes. Up next on the KOAM morning, news at noon. It's not morning anymore. I'm sorry about that. Ukraine's president is replacing the defense minister in efforts to end corruption. And later, we're making a fresh, chunky salsa in the Mr. Food test kitchen. Turning overseas, Ukraine's president is replacing his defense minister. It's a major shakeup in the middle of a war. Olinsky Revanov submitted his resignation letter this morning and praised Ukraine's resistance against the Russians. The move comes amidst Vladimir Zelensky's effort to end corruption in his government. CBS reporter Aminda Tayeb is in Kyiv.
Ukraine's early morning assault on Russia's defensive lines near Bakhmut is intense. The running gun battles come months after Moscow-backed mercenaries seized control of the strategic eastern city, which has seen some of the war's most brutal fighting. But as Ukraine's counteroffensive grinds into a stalemate on multiple fronts, the removal of Reznikov comes as the military starts to make important gains in the south. According to U.S. officials, there's been, quote, notable progress near the southern city of Zaporizhia over the past 72 hours. But the Kremlin isn't backing down. This morning it launched a 3.5-hour assault on the Danube River port of Izmail. According to the Ukrainian military, its air defense system shot down at least 17 of the Russian drones, but some hit their targets, damaging buildings and killing at least 2 people. Away from the front lines and deep underground, it's back to school for these kids. Officials in Kharkiv, Ukraine's second-largest city, have set up dozens of improvised classrooms for around 1,000 students and a local subway station. We're trying to do everything possible for our children not to feel this war, the school's director Lyudmila Yusichenko says. We're trying to create a safe environment for them.
Now, it's not only a different approach that's being taken militarily, but also when it comes to educating children and nearly all other aspects of life across Ukraine. But this new normal is anything but, as this brutal war drags on into its 18th month. Imtiaz Taib, CBS News, Kyiv.
Scams continue to become more and more common. Baxter Springs looks to educate their community on scam prevention. At Baxter Springs City Hall, the police department hosted a prevention class. The instructor taught the class ways to identify scams and how to prevent and handle them. The class also provided resources and contacts in case of a fraud emergency.
I think people are just reporting it more. I think they've always been around, but maybe people just didn't know to report it. And luckily with social media and with events such as these, we get the information out there that, hey, you're not the only one. Please report that to the right sources.
If you or someone you know have questions or concerns regarding a potential scam, you can contact your local police department. The community of Jane, Missouri came together for a fundraiser to support their local school. The event, that was open to all ages, included live music, food, a raffle, and an auction. Oil changes and restaurant certificates were just some of the prizes available in the raffle.
What better way to help people, you know, and everyone gets to come out and enjoy the outside, enjoy some good food. We have a lot of donations that we received, a lot of big donations.
Guests were invited to bring lawn chairs and tents while they listened to 6 local bands. Well, still to come on KOAM News at Noon, Mr. Food.
What's the secret to adding a zing to everything from our burgers and dogs to our nachos and dip? It's easy and fresh tasting, so don't go anywhere.
But first, we're keeping an eye on the heat. We're keeping an eye on some possible storm chances. We'll talk about all of that when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at Noon. So we've got ourselves at least a couple of opportunities for some showers and thunderstorms over the next couple of days. We also unfortunately have a few opportunities for well above average temperatures across the area as well. Skywatch Storm Tracker, not a lot going on in our area. In fact, none of this is actually happening. But what is happening is this little guy just on the southwest side of Delaware County. We've got some showers and thunderstorms, and even since the beginning of the noon, take a look at the activity in Arkansas that's kind of really started to flare up, and then this finger line of showers and storms across parts of eastern Oklahoma. Now, all of this activity is very gradually rolling off roughly to the northeast. Now you can see the activity in Arkansas. Not only does it flare up pretty quickly, it's moving a little faster than the activity in Oklahoma and might end up clipping parts of Berry County as it lifts off to the north. Now the good news is we're not anticipating any severe weather. There could be a strong storm or two, especially with this activity, but otherwise we're just looking at some rain. Unfortunately, as you can see, the majority of the area is in line for some activity that just is really not getting together, and I think that's going to be the case for us, as most of us are going to remain dry through the evening, but we still do have that chance of a stray shower or storm heading into the afternoon. Now tomorrow morning looks to be slightly better opportunities. Now these are still isolated to widely scattered thunderstorms come tomorrow morning, but we do see the opportunity for at least a few of them through the morning drive and maybe into the late morning hours, and then we'll head into tomorrow evening and see some additional shower and thunderstorm development taking place. So here we are at 10 o'clock, and we'll see this little batch of showers and thunderstorms roll on through and clear on out as we head into Wednesday morning. Again, not anticipating any severe weather at this point, but there could be a stray strong storm or two. But you can see overall our rain chance is still relatively low, so it's something that we'll keep an eye on. Hopefully we can get those rain chances up a little bit. MoDOT camera, 20th in range line in Joplin, looking good. Same from the MoDOT camera at US 60 and 59 in Neosho, looking back to the west, just a few clouds out there. And from our camera here at the KOAM studios, we've got mostly clear skies out there. It is breezy, and that's going to be something else we're going to be contending with. It's a bit of a breezy situation over the next couple of days. Sitting at 92 in Joplin. That dew point, though, making it feel like 96, so uncomfortable to say the least. South breeze at 18, gusting to 26 out there. And across the area, again, warm temperatures already. 90 Fort Scott, Yates Center, 92 Neodesha Parsons, 89 in Pittsburgh, 92 Miami, 90 in Neosho. And again, it's our dew points that are going to be the issues. They're in the upper 60s to right around 70, so that's putting us in that sticky to muggy range, and it is creating a bit of a heat index situation across the area where, look at this, feels like 95 in Lamar, 96 in Nevada, Stockton, feels like 99 in Grove, so it's definitely on the muggy side out there. For today, still looking at highs mid-upper 90s, partly cloudy skies, again, maybe a stray shower or storm. Most of us should remain dry. We'll have partly cloudy skies through the evening and eventually make it back down to low to mid 70s overnight. And then we've got our better storm chances tomorrow. Still above normal, going into the mid-90s and still breezy. South breeze 15 to 20, gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour. As we look ahead, we're going to hold on to this unusual heat all the way through at least Friday. More storm chances, although slight Wednesday evening. And then look, as we head into the second half of the weekend and next week, we have considerably better rain chances out there, scattered thunderstorms, and not only that, but the temperatures become more reasonable as well, dropping back into the mid-80s. So right about where we should be. But unfortunately, between here and there, we got some nasty heat to deal with.
Yes, we're dealing with the heat, but I tell you what, we're also dealing with that wind.
We are. It is quite breezy outside.
I went outside for my break and my hair was laying down. It was all nice. I went outside for like 2 minutes tops, come back, and my hair just sticking everywhere because the wind was just...
See, I don't have that problem, but I understand that problem.
Well, I'll be trying to relate to you, Chris. But I understand. But stick around. We are making fresh and chunky salsa in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. Salsa usually adds the much needed kick to some meals, but that's only when the salsa is made fresh and chunky. We're making fresh and chunky salsa in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Before I get going today, I want to wish a happy Labor Day. No matter what you have planned, whether you're puttering around the house or having some friends over for a cookout, I knew today's recipe had to be sort of labor-free. So let me show you how to whip up a fresh-tasting salsa that goes together in no time. We start by chopping 3 tomatoes. You could do this in a food processor, but since I like my salsa chunky, I think it's best to cut them with a knife. Now we mix these with some finely chopped onion, a bit of chopped jalapeno, a couple of tablespoons of cilantro, a little bit of garlic, a touch of salt, which brings out the flavor, the juice of a lime, and a dash or 2 of hot pepper sauce, depending on how spicy you like it. After mixing this up, we'll pop it in the fridge to let all the flavors come together. Now it's ready to put out with a bowl of tortilla chips for a fresh tasting way to start any meal. Or how about topping your burgers and dogs with it? To get the recipe for our fresh chunky salsa, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found an almost laborless way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at the 4-state market prices.
All right, could see a few stray showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms. Most of us dry through the evening. Better storm chances tomorrow morning, and then again tomorrow evening. Still hot, well above average today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. By this weekend, we start to cool back a little, and we see a few more storm chances on Sunday.
Well, it's looking pretty hot.
Yeah, it's going to be very hot out there.
Well, coming up tonight at 5, Labor Day marks the unofficial end of summer, but that does not mean you should put away the sunscreen. While there are so many to choose from, there's a push to change the products because they may not be as effective in the sun as other countries. Plus, Old Settlers Picnic took place in Uniontown, Kansas, and we're introducing another reporter in KOAM's J365 program. Join us for those stories and more at KOAM News at 5.
And thank you so much for joining us for the KOAM News at noon.
See you at 5 o'clock.